Hey folks, welcome to verifiedinvesting.com. My name is Gareth Soloway here, Chief Market Strategist. Now, in today's video, we need to deep dive into the S&P 500. Was the breakdown on Friday the beginning of a much larger move? Or ultimately, is the Iranian conflict not the major issue here? And I would argue that the economy is still going to be the driving force of any decline. Now, remember, we did get that non-farm payrolls number that was surprisingly weak, and the economy with oil at 90 plus is at major risk. But let's dive into the charts right now. First off, we're going to start with the S&P 500. You can see right here the S&P falling sharply on Friday, down 1.33% on the day. More importantly, we broke a key technical support level. So this is a level I've talked about with you guys quite a bit. It's the 6790 level on the S&P. Notice how many times over and over we hammered this level and we did not break. It kind of was this amazing level that was just so resilient until it wasn't. And that's been broken. Now, most people in the media, the financial news, even retail investors are going to say, oh, this is due to the Iranian conflict, oil being at 90, etc. Now, you're partially right, but I would argue this is that ultimately there will be a resolution. Do we think it's in a day, in a week, in a month? We don't know. But at some point, oil will come in and the markets will rebound, at least for a short amount of time. I think the bigger issue here is the underlying economic impact. So on Friday, we heard from a major bank that they took $126 million write down for a bad loan. We know that there's major private credit issues out there that have driven stocks like American Express sharply lower. And if we take a look at American Express, now, by the way, American Express actually hit support on Friday, but look at this decline. I mean, this is one of the biggest financial institutions in the world, and it's dropped precipitously from $387 in late December to bottom out on Friday at $295. So let's just do a percentage here because I think it's important for us to recognize, and you'll see where I'm going with this. So that was a 24% drop. Now, listen, it did hit support. I would expect a bounce next week in the financials. You can see all this technical support here. I actually even like this for a buying opportunity on any gap down or retrace on Monday. But the point is that there's other things here. Sure, oil is another nail in the coffin of the entire market, 100%. You guys know me. I've been bearish since the start of the year on the S&P, the Nasdaq, the Dow, right? But ultimately, the Iranian conflict is just one more issue, not the only issue, and arguably not the most major issue, all right? Because you could have oil at 90. If the economy stays strong and consumers were spending like drunken sailors, then honestly, it wouldn't matter, right? We've had 90 before. I mean, 90, in fact, we've had up to $150 crude oil before. So again, it's a issue, it's a nail, but it's not the ultimate death note, right? That I think is the important thing to recognize. So if we flip back to the charts and we go back to the S&P 500, number one, absolutely, I think this is the beginning of a bigger breakdown, but I still would expect that if things improve and oil pulls back, you'll get a short-term rally. But don't get fooled by it, okay? Retail investors are notorious for this. They'll see the headlines, all the positives, deal with Iran, whatever it may be, right? But ultimately, oil will drop $10, $15, $20, whatever it is, and people will get robustly bullish again. Don't get fooled. That non-farm payrolls number was from before this Iranian conflict, right? This war with Iran. All right, so that's number one, minus 92,000 non-farm payrolls numbers. Again, we don't know what it'll be this month. What we do know is that ultimately we saw Block laying off 50% of its workforce because of AI. Now Oracle is going to do a bunch of thousands, multiple thousands to offset with AI. AI is coming for jobs. The unemployment rate upticked to 4.4%. That's going north of 5%, in my opinion, by early 2027. So about a year from now, we'll be over 5%. That's going to be the issue here in the markets. And the charts are already alerting us to this, right? So if we take away these short-term lines, which just dictate the breakdown, but then we zoom out here, I mean, look, the market has been telling us that it is topping out. It's just, again, the big institutional money and the media and even social media, because retail gets caught up in it, they are the ones that are just not willing to accept the chart action. Right? The charts are so predictive. They're remarkable in their abilities. They're not perfect, of course, but what we see here is the COVID low Here's your 3 bear market lows kind of hopping along the trend line, right, in 2022, and the liberation sell-off low. And then look at these highs right here, bull market high in 2021. Look at what we tagged right there. And then this is, again, distribution, right? So this is, again, a rounded top. In fact, if you saw this pattern, for those of you that are technically inclined and understand basic chart pattern, what kind of pattern would this be if it was reversed? It would be this, right? Okay. So it's down here, and then it's a kind of an upside down cup. So it would be up and then this, right? All right. This, my friends, again, this is a cup and handle pattern. And again, this is ultimately telling us, yeah, sure, we can get a little bit of a bounce. I actually think that's very, very likely. But you're looking at, again, a market that is putting in a nasty pattern formation here that ultimately, again, I would expect the rounded top, right? Then this, the handle, and then the bigger drop to the downside. We can bring this over here so we can get a better view of this. But essentially, that's what you're looking at now, is like a potential inverse cup and handle pattern that eventually brings major downside to the market. And again, even think about it like this. You have major resistance up here that's predicted the major bull market high here, and the parallel to that has predicted all 3 major sell-offs. So if you think about it, well, where would the market ultimately bottom out? Now, listen, it'll have many bounces along the way, but the idea is eventually it's coming down here, all the way down to 5,600 or so. Now, it may take months to get there. In all fairness, it probably will, unless oil stays at 90 or goes above 100 for an extended period of time. Then it could happen a lot faster because, again, that would hurt the economy much, much more. Remember, sustained oil being high, especially with inflation. And this is the other kicker, right? We've already heard, we saw PPI a little over a week ago, very, very hot. PCE was hot. Now, before that, we had CPI that wasn't so bad, but these numbers are starting to creep up, right? So inflation is going up. Now, throw in the mix, you have $90+ oil, and we haven't had a CPI or PPI number or PCE number since oil has surged. So think about that. That's another, so you have inflation going up, you have weaker jobs data, and ultimately you have a slowing economy while inflation is going up. That's stagflation, the boogeyman of all economic scenarios. So suffice it to say, I am not 100% convinced that it's going to go straight down, because I don't think it does, and markets generally don't do that, right? They don't go like this. But I do think we're setting up for this type of move, creating an inverse cup and handle pattern. And then we have that bigger down move. But this is the oil move right here, the down move. And then when oil gets resolved, and let's say it comes back to $80 or $70 a barrel, that's going to drive markets up, creating the handle. And then that will lead into the economic issues that are already showing, including the private credit issues, that will be our big leg down. Now, the big leg down probably isn't going to come for, let's say, I don't know, a couple more months. I think you have to have, again, that bounce, that little completion of the cup here, the upside down cup, then obviously the relief of oil coming in. But it's on the verge. And I want to show you a few other charts. And these are charts that I highlighted. I was a big short seller at Dow Jones Industrial Average when it hit 50,000. Look at this. Such a great trend line right here. Look at that move into that level, and look at the rejection. Use your trend lines, guys. Notice I don't use a lot of crazy indicators. In fact, I almost use none. Trend lines and pattern recognition. It's really all you need. In fact, keeping it simple means that you will get less distracted by all the other noise. There's so much noise out there. Paralysis by analysis, they call it. And so you have this move down. And if you look, by the way, great pullback. And you get a bounce here. I mean, there's major support around 45,700. But if you look at the Nasdaq as well, if we look at the Nasdaq comp here, the Nasdaq composite, it's right here. And what's interesting about the Nasdaq, number one, same sort of parallel. This one goes back only to the 2022 bear market lows, and then the liberation sell-off low, bull market high of 2021. And look at that, right to that high. But this is your break point. And we didn't break it on Friday, which I thought was interesting. Tech actually held up a little bit better. Microsoft, for instance, was only flat to slightly negative. Google was only flat to slightly negative. There were a lot of stocks that actually performed reasonably well, and the tech sector did not break. So this could be setting up for a little bounce next week in tech. And then I think, again, like we said, down the line, you'll have your bigger down move. All right, guys. So that's what we're looking at here. The forecast, again, is that yes, the markets have topped out for the bull market. Now it's very much like what we saw in Bitcoin, where Bitcoin came down off 127,000, then kind of bounced around for a while before breaking down. That's what I think the markets are doing right now. They're just repeating but lagging the Bitcoin chart. Of course, I'll get you guys this weekend a Bitcoin update as well as gold and silver. We'll cover it all because there's a lot going on. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.